video, we added in this motion path, and we've got our carriage going along. And now what we need to do is add in, import some of our other assets that we've worked on previously. So let's say you've made an asset and you've done some keyed animation for this. So in this example, I've animated just keyed a hovering ball. Is nothing particularly impressive in the slightest about this. This is purely just to demonstrate some keyed animation that we can import. So in the scene that you have your keyed animation, if you select the object that you want to export, make sure to rename it something appropriate and go to export selection, click the dialog box, and we want this to be an FBX export. Okay, so if you don't see it, scroll down your list, and if you go into your click export selection, you'll bring up this box and you'll see inside there's an animation option. Make sure your animation is selected. We're going to call this sphere 1 and we'll click export for that selection, and then we can hide that. We won't save that scene. And if we go back to here, now what we're going to do is import that item. So if we go to File, Import, and we just need to go in and find your FBX file. Just make a note of where you've saved it. Click Import, and it didn't match to 35 seconds. Okay, that's fine. So it just means that the key animation is going to operate a little bit differently, but it still goes up, it still goes down, as you can see in the center of my screen. So if we start to move this object from where we've done the keyed animation, we're going to run into a problem because it's been keyed to happen at 0 and 0 at each point where we've provided keyframes. So to resolve this, if I push Control G with the item selected, you'll see here in the outliner it's now part of a group. Now, if we move that group around, which you'll see over here is 0, 0, 0, so we'll just put sphere group. And if we move that group to somewhere that we want that item, let's say what's it over here, maybe we want it to kind of be at the end of the ride. You'll see now that if we play back, that is hovering there at the end. But obviously, with what we've got, is not really going to be visible by the time we get around there on our carriage. So what we need to do is tell this to keep looping around. So if we select the object, and in the graph editor at the bottom, if you haven't got this window, go to your workspace, go to animation. Alternatively, you can go to Windows, Animation Editors, and go to Graph Editor. And in here, you should be able to go to Curves, Post Infinity, and go to Cycle. Okay. Now what that's going to do is tell the item to continuously animate, and as we've got it, the start and end frame are the same, it will loop and circle around really nicely. So we now have that hovering happening persistently throughout our scene. So the next stage that we're going to look at is adding in the camera, and I'll see you in the next video for that. But obviously, once you've got all your animations in your scene and they're positioned, you're ready to kind of move on to the next step, which is preparation for rendering.